We are live.
Awesome.
Little Flashpoint action, Ebontis. What's going on, man? Talk to us.
What is going on, Cognito? Yeah, this week at Bungie has been quiet for a little while, but after the developer update on the 11th, we've had some more things to talk about. So, wanted to get just kind of a chat going on about these things, kind of get a little feel of the way the weeks go, and at least it's something to talk about in the Destiny world, as so many of us still want to enjoy the game and be passionate about it, but some and many are not thrilled with what's going on. But I'm going to toss it over to you to kick us off and kind of get things rolling. So let's hear it.
Yeah, man, this is something we've been talking about for a while. Obviously, Ebontis is my man. We've known each other for a bit now, and we love this damn game. We still love it. So we're still trying to figure out what's going on. There's a lot of updates that's been trickling out and stuff like that. But ultimately, I mean, it just comes down to the passion for Destiny, wanting it to improve, wanting it to get back to its glory era, so to speak. And we're probably going to be doing this from time to time. And ever since Guardian Con, when we first met, and we were only two guys there with business cards, and,
Hey,
and
it's
I'm
kind of one
like,
of those when you try and grow your channel, you never quite know what options are going to work. I did get one comment that actually said it was from the con, but probably not a lot. So
exactly.
that works.
Yeah, man. It was just one of those things, and I'm just like, man, Ebontis knows his destiny, and it was just so cool, just kicking it, at the events, and having a good time, and just being passionate about this community that we still love. So something that I've been always wanting to do, and figure why not today, right?
Hey, it seems like a good day for it. We're wrapping up January, which seems crazy because we already hit 2018, but this month's almost done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I missed last Destiny, or yeah, Guardian Con, it is now called. We went to Destiny Con.
We
but
went to Destiny Con.
But I was waiting for some of those tickets to go on sale. I don't know if it's going to be as popular this year. I have a VIP. Actually, if I know.
You got the VIP this year?
I went for the VIP because, it's Destiny 2. I kind of figured, would be a big deal. And now I'm kind of like, guess we'll see when time gets closer. But for the time being, kind of went for the golden ticket. But yeah, so we've got the updates coming out. We've done our sat down with the Iron Lords at the table, talked about the big update. I had my half an hour, 37-minute video, or whatever rant I had about the developer update. There's a lot to talk about, and there always is with Destiny. So I mean, we'll try and at least stick with the Bungie weekly update just to kind of cover details, but I'm sure some of these will bring up other topics, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Let's dive in, man. Let's get into this thing.
So, as you guys probably know, faction rallies came through. Give me a quick thought. What were your thoughts on faction rallies?
All right. Faction rally for me, it was kind of like, from a new monarchy perspective, absolutely loved it. As far from an ornament perspective, I thought the ornaments looked fantastic. To me, new monarchy has the best armor by far. And yeah, man. I mean, the big thing though was the weapons, and I know a lot of other people in the community was pretty upset because Bungie didn't explain what actually would happen as far as that process is concerned. People thought they were going to get all, I guess, with the season 2 weapons in the from faction rally.
Yeah.
And when that didn't happen, there was a bit of unrest. So I wasn't too affected because, again, my purpose was more the ornaments. Right. And I really wanted that full set to do all those little kind of tasks for that. But I can understand for my guys that wanted the weapons how they could be upset.
Did you get the set?
Of course.
There we go.
Hideo is iced out. I got everything going on. My warlock looking nice.
My Titan looks stout with that lion on his chest. So that was that was actually for me. I haven't grinded for much in Destiny 2 in a while, and it was actually something to grind for. There was one of the ones was to do patrols. That I think could have been the first time to actually do patrols. Like they had a purpose behind them. I think that was the first time I've seen that. For me, the weapons, I think the communication, unfortunately, really stunk. Now, everybody assuming that, hey, we're going to have access to all these other weapons. I don't remember how it went in season 1 if there were other weapons dropping, but we just didn't get the one of the week. I know, I got a random, from the Cade's chests, I've got random faction weapons. I don't know if they've stopped that because it's been a while since I've got one, but I think it would have been a nice balance if, over the course of the season, somehow we're going to have like 3 or 4 or 5 faction rallies. I forget how many they said.
Yeah.
But you have what, 9 different weapon types?
That is
Throw a
true.
couple. So the ones that aren't going to be part of that for season 2, hey, these are the ones that you can get from engrams for each of the factions. So if we run New Monarchy the first time, you could get a chance at, I don't know, scout rifle or auto rifle. That's not going to be part. Well, the auto rifle was, but whatever isn't going to be in their plan, throw the other ones in there so we have an option for other stuff. Like the art team always makes usually a full set of weapons, so let's have access to some, but maybe not all, and communicate. So
I would agree.
I was like, I don't think it was the end of the world that we didn't get them all. The communication, apparently people assumed I want all the stuff. Like, okay, they didn't communicate it, so we didn't know. But again, yeah, so I think just communication would go a long way. But if there's a full set of weapons, give us some, not all. I think that would be a baby step.
I agree. Like I said, just confusion, bad messaging on their part that they didn't, like let people know. But I actually don't mind it now that I know what the process is.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, I can understand how some people get upset about that.
Yeah. Well, it's instant gratification for all of society. So what are you gonna do? Yeah, there's a whole philosophical debate that comes up later. So
exactly.
Yeah, New Monarchy. So I guess we'll see how their communication goes for the next one. But for now, I love how they called the salad bar for Iron Banner.
Yeah,
I've heard it called Iron Banana. I don't know. Salad in. I guess that's where the salad bar.
Salad in. Gotta be.
Yeah. So yeah, it starts next week with the January update, which we'll get down to a little bit later. But Control will be the game mode, which 4v4 Control, kind of know how that one goes. What are your general thoughts on Iron Banner so far? I'll just kind of leave it parked here on the hand cannon, which looks snazzy.
Oh, his hand cannon look nice. I can't front. Yo, let me tell you right now about this, man. It's so disappointing for me right now. It's just right now, Iron Banner just feels like a Crucible skin, And for me, the big things were the lack of the power narrative, like that. As minuscule as some people say it is, I still feel it made a difference. It gave you a reason to grind, to get your light up, So that definitely was something that I was a little disappointed in. And then I don't know, man. It just, I'm still adjusting to 4s in Iron Banner a little bit as well. And I know we know 6s are coming back down the road, but it's just a different feel. It's just a different feel. I just miss, I guess, 6s from a standpoint of like if you got your raid team. Your same 6 can actually go play Iron Man together. You don't have to split up the squad, so to speak.
Right. Yep.
Kind of thing. So, right now, as far as the rewards and stuff, I've seen some of the ornament stuff that looks cool, but a lot of it just comes down to, just them addressing the meta, addressing the token system and stuff like that. So let's deep dive. What are they talking about now? What's going on?
So for Iron Banner, they're going to kick it off. It's going to be first time for season 2. So they're going to have a couple of changes, even though they seem fairly minor from what I can tell. They're going to be bringing 3 weapons, basically, as your chance to get those. So they're saying season 2 weapons on Iron Banner will be adding more in the next event. Here's a look at what we can expect this week. So first, we've got the hand cannon, as we said. You can even see the rifling in the barrel chamber. Like, come on. So that's what I was like, as always. And that's why I guess sometimes when, as I started my other video, take a second, remember all of the people involved in a game. The art team, the production, the music. There's so many teams that make a game that when you bash it for like Eververse and who knows who makes those decisions, but it's like it could be Bungie, Activision, CEOs, money, who knows the reasons. There's a good chunk of that studio absolutely killing themselves, which most, unfortunately, game development studios do, putting out like a gun that looks like this.
Absolutely. I mean, shout out to the art team. Look at that. I mean, it's really nice. And they don't get enough credit. And these are the kind of things that make you want to continue to play Destiny, right? Like, look how fantastic the art team does, and the graphic team. It's just pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got the rail underneath. You've got the ornament up there.
The wolf is mean. That gold wolf
right there. Oh, looks good. You can even see like the texturing on the trigger. Like, but the fact that they got the rifling inside the barrel, I'm like, ugh. Like,
sick. Can't
then we come down to scout rifle. So this will be number 2, Viced. I think a cool foundry. I like how this is the new one, more kind of angular and usually having triangles and kind of more points involved, which is cool. I like how, I don't know if you see my little mouse cursor on your side. It's actually got where you'd basically pull back the slide to almost like feed the magazine. That little and then just the scope, but that's a really long barrel in that one. And then you've got the shotgun. Clean, simple, thorough shotgun.
Thorough shotty.
Yep. Just a little bit of texturing. All of that looks really cool. And then we come down here to some of the cosmetics. So So
which
it's
are not behind Tess Everest.
Right. So they actually want to throw some Iron Banner stuff in there. And there's a nice little blip at the bottom. The only thing not pictured is the Iron Banner ship. We'll save that for when you discover it yourself. Now, I don't know what that's going to involve, but even just a little texturing here on these, like, again, art team crushing it. But the cosmetics are not behind Tess Everest, as they've told us in the Crimson Days they're going to have a lot of things and they're going to be changing more and more coming that direction. So that's good. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. Iron Banner used to feel like it mattered more. And even if the power level most people were maxed, it didn't really matter. It gave you a reason to want to be like, oh, I just want to go in at full power, so I guess I should infuse this thing. Or whatever the feeling was. Iron Banner, as you said, it's a reskin. For me, it's just like, instead of Crucible, I always picture red from Shaxx. Now this one is just green. Like, to me,
it literally feels like a Crucible reskin. Like, there's no differentiate. And then, you know what's the sad part about it, Ebontis, is that in the lore, shout out to Kaibatsu and Sleet in the chat. In the lore, power is supposed to matter.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the crazy part for them going around with that. But continue.
Oh, no. And yeah, but I mean, as you're saying, power should matter, but the mode doesn't do anything to differentiate itself. So you could have, maybe there's a modifier, maybe there's just anything to make it different. So it actually felt like something besides go to a different vendor for your rewards. Like that, it doesn't do much for me. I mean, yeah, there's some cool stuff in here and I have no idea how the guns are going to shoot, but outside of grinding for just another gun, doesn't do much for me.
I agree. Absolutely.
So, all right, so as we kind of scroll down the page here, it's like, yeah, lackluster Iron Banner so far. We'll see if they ever make it systematically different.
Wait, hold on. So, I got to interrupt you one second. Lord Kai's in the chat talking about he don't like the new Monarchy Red Riding. He said it looks like Red Riding Hood. New Monarchy kid. How dare you besmirch new Monarchy right now?
I decked out my Titan. I knew it looked good. If the Hunter doesn't look good, I don't have a thought on that one.
Hunter looks fantastic. He's got a problem with the hoods going over the Hunters, like the ears and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's got a problem with that. That hood is fire. Lord Kaibatsu, you out of control right now. You on timeout. Continue, Ebontis.
Oh, you're good. So they also say if you're missing items from last season, so season 1, they will still drop as possible rewards from the engram, which I guess that works. Not sure. They said there's also a new emblem that tracks how many lifetime rank ups. So it's actually just your overall level now, which is a way to track that as opposed to, I guess, just packages you've opened, even though I feel like we kind of have that already. Don't we? Like, didn't the previous, if you got the emblem for the milestone or something, you'd have it, and I could see how many packages I've opened.
Yeah, the initial emblem, I believe it was like when you finished it. Yeah, the emblem, it does track packages. I'm pretty confident it does.
So I guess they're doing that again.
Yeah, maybe adding a second emblem that does
second emblem.
Yeah, it has that functionality.
And again, just another color. So there's more of that. Come down here. They said Iron Banner events players prefer to acquire the items directly. So if you actually want to purchase some of these things, you will now be able to. So you can get the 3 different weapons that are available. It may take shards or Iron Banner tokens, things like that. They've also got their list of ornaments. I'll try and zoom in so you guys can see this here.
Yeah, push that up.
So we've got I've got the helm on my Titan. So I mean, if it looks different, it's pretty minor. But all of these here, just the faction rewards. But you got the ornaments. Yeah. And I'm kind of curious if the ornaments are going to be something like the faction rallies were, where you have to go do certain things, maybe in PvP.
Yeah, they actually are, because they gave us a preview of them even before this dropped. If you had any Iron Banner gear, you can actually preview it and then see some of the requirements for it. So they had that in place.
Have to log on. So I mean, that's actually kind of a cool thing. So if you've got a piece already and you want to grind for, the Curse of Osiris alternative, for example, you can, and maybe it's just going to be, get precision kills, get this. But it's a reason to go play Crucible a little differently. They have a lot of a game. I know that sounds poor grammatically, but they have a lot of game to use. They need to give you reasons to go play it differently, find different ways to use it. So
absolutely.
That's actually, I'm okay. So that's good. And if there's a weapon you just don't get to drop and you're like, damn it, I want the hand cannon, you've got some tokens, go get it.
Now here's the thing though, Bunts, I got a comment on the weapons though. I don't know how I feel about that.
Going to get them, just like go buy them?
You know what? I'm cool with the armor, because we know how like the armor, you can just get unlucky. You're like, damn, I didn't get the, arms, whatever. And you can get unlucky with the weapons. It's just that I don't know how I feel about this new philosophy of them putting featured weapons in Iron Banner as well as Raid. I don't know. Part of me kind of misses that aspect of RNG. you know,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
wanting to keep playing. Because now, if I think about this, if we play and I get enough tokens or whatever, I get enough Chuck E. Cheese or whatever it
yeah,
is, then
got
I
enough
can just go to
quarters or
Salad,
tickets.
yeah, pick up the weapon, and essentially I'm done for Iron Banner.
Yeah, I mean, unless you like really want to grind for the armor ornaments, there's not as much because, as we'll probably get down into a rant. Otherwise, armor doesn't matter too much. But that's
Exactly.
we'll sidebar that for a minute.
What's up?
Yeah, but yeah, like if you want to go buy weapons, now let me ask you this: what if at one point during Iron Banner, if you collected enough tokens for your featured weapons, you could only pick one per event?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
See that I'm good with that. I just don't like. See, what I'm worried about is they're so now in this defensive mode of trying to accommodate the entire community that they're trying. It's almost like they're just you get a weapon, and you get everything, and it's like, okay, I get it. You want to appease the community. Community's upset, but I don't want it that you get everything because that's what gets people to stop playing. There has to be some level of grind to keep us coming back.
So say I was like, I'm just random idea here. Say your first Iron Banner match, you get one specific. You get a Lord Saladin. You get a coin that looks like his giant flaming thing behind him. So like a coin that looks like the gong. You get one after your first match, so you have to play once. As you go through the week, you grinded. You got one of the weapons. You get to the last day before you're about to go to sleep. You're like, all right, I got to pick. And your token can be spent on one other thing, be it a weapon. Say you got them all. You wanted to get one ornament, but you didn't play the right way. Like one token that you could basically drop on the single item that you say couldn't get or couldn't grind for. I mean,
yeah,
I think that would be kind of cool. So, I mean, those are the little things. Like, think a little bit outside the box to where give us like if somebody wants to grind all day, yeah, they're probably going to get most of them, but just by RNG odds and things like that. And I like the ornaments having kind of bounty feel to them, but have something that like still have people make choice. And I think that'll come down as we get to it later. So.
Dale's in the chat. He's saying, question, wouldn't you agree that it'd be better if Iron Banner weapons themselves were more lore influenced? Like a weapon for Scory should be influenced visually by her, not the usual scheme, or like a Jolder gun, make it chunky and Titan like. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, they like everything seems to match a very clean aesthetic here. Like there's no distinction between them. So they did a lot of that in Destiny 1, I guess, for the names, but I would say the lore going into some of them, maybe if it was a wrap of, and maybe just do one of those every so often. But yeah, I'd love to see like a, Joldor shotgun, or as you said, machine. We don't even have machine guns anymore. RIP machine guns. Yeah, any of those to have one cool, just like Iron Banner, but to a completely different level, like a very different one that you want. And that'd be cool. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see. I mean, armor is still armor. It all just looks different. Doesn't really do much for me for the way my character feels. But the weapons, we'll see. I wish, but yeah, as I said, I wish they made them more scarce. So here's your full set of ornaments. What are you thinking? Did they fall out of
not too bad for me? Kind of like a little Shogun-y feel. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I think the design. I mean, from a Warlock, remember, it's all about the Warlock for me. So
I've been playing Titan lately for a while.
But now, real talk, the Titan looks mean. I love the way the Titan looks. I'm cool with it. What's your feeling?
No, I mean, again, they look freaking awesome. Like all of them do to their own aspect. Like the Titan looks sick. I wish I could actually pause this, but I can't. But I mean, even the gloss on just the detail of front of, say, like the Titan boots. Like you can see that, and then just the ornate, like every little chink of armor around the Warlock's bottom of the robe.
Yeah.
And then, no offense, but the top of the Hunter helm may look ridiculous, but it also looks kind of badass at the same time.
Yeah, so. It kind of reminds me of that era, that whole samurai, Shogun era. I like this whole little theme and motif they going with. The art team got, like, look at the stuff they putting out, man. And this is shit. That's why they got to make this thing matter. But I heard Masterworks may address that, but we're going to get into that later.
Well, we made different opinions, so that's what this is for.
No doubt.
Right, so... But yeah, season 2 ornaments look cool. So, and hopefully those are just ones you can acquire multiple times throughout the season. So if you don't grind the first one, maybe you'll get the next one. So Iron Banner overall, I mean, I'm kind of with you. Generally, it feels like a reskin. I mean, the skin itself looks awesome. Art team puts it out, but my desire to go after some of this still doesn't feel like it's pulling me back in the game. If I'm not playing it right now, if I'm going to go dive into, say, Monster Hunter, it's like, am I really just going to put down a brand new game to go play a different colored PvP? It doesn't feel like it for me. But granted, they all look freaking cool. So, and the next piece of the update, we come to Masters of the Armor. So, as you guys know, Masterwork weapons have been out there. We, of course, assumed Masterwork armor was coming. They told us it was. So similar idea is same thing. It works with the cores. The more difficulty activity, the better chance to get a Masterwork. All of that will go through, but you still have a chance to get them anywhere. It's always nice when they just pop out of random engrams from Rahul. He's not very generous, but occasionally he's nice. So the benefits of the Masterwork armor. So I hoped it did. So at least it does. It is going to stack. So the damage resistant stacks. Now, do you think 15% total damage reduction is enough?
It depends. I mean, they got to walk a fine line. I mean, this to me completely benefits roaming supers.
Absolutely.
You know, and they needed a bit of love. I like the fact that each armor piece does stack. So I thought that part of it was cool. It's gonna be they're 15%. I gotta see how this is in real world gameplay. You know, as far as PvP versus PvE. Like, do we really feel tanky with their 15%? You know, that kind of deal. That's gonna be the key for me. If I'm a Stormcone, I'm running around. You know, how tanky am I if I have a full set of Masterwork armor? And, you know, shout out to the guys like, you know, Fallout Plays and those guys will break it down, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll go through and be like, your Uriel's gift now does 1 point less damage, all that stuff. Like, Dado and all that stuff.
That was a sick impersonation, by the way. Continue.
But yeah, it's like, see, this is where it's an overall system thing. They've said it from before. They want to have PvP and PvE feel the same. If you walk your gun into one, it's going to feel the same in the other. But again, this is also where I want to divide them. Or if I had the benefits in PvE, where if I was wearing Masterworks, or say, for example, there were 2 different sets of Masterwork armor. There was a PvP, that maybe it did 3 or 4%. Then take a PvE and crank that up to, like, I don't know, 10 or 20%. So if you wear a full set and you want to go jump into the middle of mayhem, you're probably going to survive for the whole 7, 8, 10 seconds that you get to use your super.
Gotcha.
Like, you're meant to feel like a god. And I wish in PvE that they would let you do that just to a different level. In PvP, it's kind of you can't walk around with 100% damage reduction, or not 100, but, you know, 50% damage off or something like that. Because, then you'll go mop the floor with the whole team. So I understand where they like the balance of 15, somewhere 15 to 20 would sound good for PvP. I just wish they would divide it, and maybe you had a PvP set and then you could work for a PvE set that gave you better benefits for strikes or some of those crazy PvE situations. If you want to solo it, you grinded for it, you know, hey, I feel a bit more awesome. So
I think also for me, the only disappointment I have, my major disappointment with Masterwork armor so far, is I thought there would be like another rerollable stat. Like similar to how like Masterwork weapon has. So like, you know, you have the magazine, you have the whatever. Now I get it. They're letting you re-roll. What is it? Recovery.
It's like the type basically, like
light,
restorative or whatever.
Exactly. Which is okay. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I still wanted a little bit more out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like if you're gonna re-roll Masterwork, say whatever piece you get, say you can give them either another slot or make it to where you can pick 2 different perks. Like if you want it to be heavy and I want to re-roll the one part that's in mobility and throw that into resilience as well, make it ultra heavy. That's what you're saying. It's like, give me more control over the stats, and they took that away from what the guns did. So
yeah, absolutely. And here's the other problem is that, let's be honest, who's really going to be rolling? The whole configuration aspect is limited in the sense that who's going to be rolling from mobility like that when it's just strafe speed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's useless.
Yeah, so it's like unless they make an overall sandbox change to mobility,
right?
No one's going to be. This is just really configuring everything into restorative and resilient.
Basically, I mean, yeah, it's like everybody wants a decent amount of resilience to have that, you know, amount of hit points. So when you take those shots, you're not going to die in 4. It takes you 5 or whatever, and then everyone's recovery just so you get back in the fight faster. And that was if you listen to my video, and I'll probably put a link up on it, and if you want to go to my channel, you'll find it. It's the only 37-minute video I have recently. Stats don't matter. None of them do right now. So
hold on one second, Ebon. Lord Sleet in the chat talking about he runs full mobility. Do you know it's only strafe speed? It's not like it's not.
I was
the
like,
same.
let's go sprint down a hallway, and you're not going to outrun.
You're
me.
not outrunning anyone. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they gotta fix it. They gotta make a sandbox change in mobility to make it more attractive. There's no reason to really do it anymore. Like it's just they got to me the sandbox update needs to come in the worst way.
Yeah,
so bad.
Oh,
but good thing.
I'm sorry. And spring can't get here enough. But yeah, I mean that's kind of one of those I thought. Say for example, and this would be kind of a cool thing for Masterworks to add more to it. Say you only had 10 stat points total. Straight up total. But say you had, a group of 3 or 4 hunters that went, everybody stacked mobility to the max. But say they sprinted like a crazy person, like they ran like they were, running away from something bad. But on the other end, say you have 4 Titans that are running resilience. Now, if you're running a control match, for example, okay, yeah, those hunters can run back and forth all day long and cover what they need to. But say you have 2 Titans that split up and go in duos, and basically say they have 300 health versus, basically a team that has 4, and you almost have an even match, but in very, very different stats. I can either outrun you all day, but if I run into you, you're hard as hell to kill. That's what I want for armor. I want it to matter. Like, I want the stats. And that recover, I still can't figure out where that throws in the mix between speed and health, but maybe like recovery is almost more like ability reach. I don't know. But I want those type of decisions. Like, if I go full mobility, I really want to flat outrun that other person by a good, minute by the time I'm done running something. Like, make a difference. So
absolutely, I completely agree.
Yeah, so I'd love to see stats be more. So as I agree with you, I'm so glad it stacks. If it didn't stack, this was going to be like a waste. So the stack is at least a step in the right direction. I'd like to see maybe a little more. But as you also said, it only affects roaming supers, basically everything that's arc, be it Striker, Stormcaller, and Arc Strider, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yep.
But like, say, Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun on a boss. They get 0 benefit from an entire stack. It just doesn't do them any good. There's no gain. And a Golden Gun in PvE still, most of the time, you're not really trying to survive unless you're trying to like finish off a Nightfall boss and you're the last one. But more often than not, you're not going to get benefits. Nova Bomb, no matter what you do, as soon as you fire it, it's done. So where is their benefit from Masterwork at all?
Yeah. It doesn't. If you're a non-roaming super, you don't get any benefit, and it becomes a PvE only thing. And even then, you still don't really get. You're gonna be from a distance shooting. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Long blades and hammers, they get a benefit, but Golden Gun doesn't. So it's like 5 do and 4 don't. But again, if I like running the ones that roam or the ones that don't, if I want to run, Golden Gun, I've seen very little benefit to this, and I think that kind of sucks. So that's where I think the stats could have done more, at least to give them an extra benefit. So that's my general thoughts on it. Let me see if I can scroll down the page. So yeah, you can rework the stats on armor, as we said. Basically, it's the stat packages you've seen. So if you have a heavy, a light, a mobility, recovery, whatever the ones are for your class, you're just going to be able to roll between those. Now, it's only 1 Masterwork core, which isn't as bad. Not quite as many cores, because you might want to do that a couple of times. So they have one little bug. They did say it doesn't take your... It does, which is good. It doesn't take your materials away, but it can be scary if you I spend it and nothing happens. So it's saying if you rework the Masterwork armor too quickly in a row, apparently it's just going to not do anything. So it doesn't sound game breaking or any mean, but hey, at least they know it. And this is one of those things, honestly, where I appreciate it. They're like, hey, we know this bug is here. Nothing's going to happen. Just watch out. It can happen. Like straight up.
What I like is the transparency with it, because that's been their issue. Like, how is it that the community is finding out, these issues before they do? So the fact that they tested that, and then also we're transparent, these are signs in the right direction. This is the type of stuff we want to see from Bungie.
The line is way out there, but at least they're stepping in the right direction.
Exactly.
All right. So yeah, I mean, Masterworks again. Yeah, armor's kind of. It steps in the right direction, but some supers will really enjoy this. I mean, Striker Titans, which already are kind of ridiculous, just got a little stronger. So
yeah, absolutely.
Have fun in the Crucible. All of you Arc people, enjoy the benefits. Those of you who like running the quick supers, I'm sorry, you get to look pretty. That's it.
I mean, in all fairness, in PvP, they kind of needed a bump. You know what I mean? The
No,
roaming
I mean, that's
supers.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like unless you're just gonna like wait around a corner for somebody to pop up and then slam, it's
Yeah.
harder to cover that ground. I mean, it's cool that they roam, how they changed them from Destiny 1, but yeah, it's harder
Mhm.
to take advantage of them without getting just, you know, especially I feel like Arc Strider got it the worst. Arc
Yeah.
Strider would just get wailed on pretty
Mhm.
constantly because they don't have the blink and
Mhm.
then can't cover quite as much ground. So you have to.
I will say this though. Shout out to when Mayhem dropped. I was in that Mayhem a lot.
Oh, bring
And
that back. Oh, bring
yeah,
it back.
which I don't know why they got rid of it. But yo, there's just some little evasive move that they got. It's like this flip. And I was shooting Nova bombs and I could not kill this damn arc strike. Like they would close the distance so fast. So there's some little, I don't know what subtree that is, that they do that little flip and it's kind of like closes the distance and it's very evasive.
Yeah,
So
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't play
that's the
him that
new
much
thing
right
in the
now.
meta that people are doing
Yeah.
all the time. Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So now we come to the raid and the changes they are making to their rewards. By the way, if you want a tongue twister, say raid, reward, rework quickly. It's not going to go well. So, basically, they said the in-game experiences feel lackluster to say the least. It's kind of a way to sum it up, but they want to change the way you get the rewards. So, one of the first ones is raid perks, which thank you so much. Why were these gone? I don't know, but I'm so glad they're back. So these are big. Now you look at the perks, and I'm already looking down below just from the cloak alone. Yep, sign me up. This is looking good. So I'll cover the details here in a second, but so you've got mods that are going to appear from new drops from the raid armor. They're reusable, so if you select one, you can just pick the one you need. It may take you a shard or a callus token or something if you want to switch it, but generally it's not going to be too hard to use these when you want to, which is really nice that they're not like, hey, okay, it's gone, which is good. So we don't hopefully have to manage anymore in our inventory. And then we come down here. So what they wanted to do with these is make them not specific to the raid as much for encounters, but overall use for your character. So you've got the example here that's on screen, and it's the Hunter Cloak. So looks like you've got the option for all 3 damage types. The one selected is your solar abilities do 25% more damage. That's large.
That's a big jump. You're right. I'm wait till you finish. I'm gonna bite my tongue, but yeah, nope. That's big. I'm not gonna minimize that.
So I mean, think about when you have a modifier of, and this is where I want more modifiers in all other parts of the game, like solar burn and stuff they used to do. But think about like a Celestial Nighthawk on Callus now, 25% extra damage. He's just gonna drop faster. So I mean, I like the fact that they're giving you nice benefits to grind for. So I mean, I like the fact that these are here. But they want broadly useful perks like recharge your grenade when you activate your super, which I'm not entirely sure about that one being that beneficial unless it's just instantly recharge it, which maybe
that's got to be a fast recharge for that to be effective.
Yeah, deal 20% extra damage after getting a melee kill. I guess we're going to be stabbing a lot more stuff. Seems hit or miss. So I guess it just kind of depends on how some of these feel and how useful they're going to be. It seems like the class item might have the best one. So I kind of gave a little bit before going to the next section. Now you're chomping at the bit over there.
Yeah, let me jump in on this right. Let me jump in on this right. Okay, this is a big subject for me because I know a lot. Shout out to Lord Hack and stuff. Like a lot of my raid team is kind of going by the wayside, and a lot of it had to do with this raid rewards. What are we getting? What are they going to do to address it? And we're from that era of you play Oryx. You get a speed buff when doing such and such activity, or you're playing Wrath of the Machine. You pick up the shot cannon. You get a speed boost when what I mean. Like there would be very specific mechanics in the encounter that would help you, right. And I kind of miss that. I'm not gonna lie. Now I understand what they're saying that as far as the dev team, and he's like, look, they wanted to go away from specific stuff and kind of do broad stuff, but I don't understand why we can't do both.
No, I absolutely agree. Like, I mean, if you're the one holding an orb, for example, or you're the one, say if you go in the Shadow Realm, maybe you just, or maybe not in the Shadow Realm, it's not as much. Say if you're the one in the throne room, when in Callus's room, you take 10%, let you take less damage or something. Just a general thing that to make that, if you've grinded enough to get a full set, Make that if you're going to go run people through.
That's
hey,
what I'm
make sure
saying.
you can be a little bit more successful. I mean, you've already put the work in.
Exactly. At minimum on the prestige level, right? Because my thing is, I'm hoping for something like, okay, we all jump on callus plates. You get 10% or 15% increase to reload speed on callus plates. You know what I'm saying? Like something specific. I don't understand why they want to go away from that so bad. I don't understand why was that necessarily a bad thing? You know, don't get me wrong. Recharging your grade and activating the super, 20% extra damage. Like these are very, based on the statistics, they're very raw, powerful numbers. It definitely sounds like it, or at least game impacting. Impacting. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't understand why they felt the need to still go away from what was so wrong about Destiny 1's system of giving specific encounter perks. Like what's the issue with that? So I'm still a little confused.
No, I mean, I'm with you. It's like Callus, you could do it multiple ways, whether benefit people in the Shadow Realm, benefit people in the Throne Room. The plates, as you said, is perfect. That's when you're doing damage. I mean, those things would be nice. They had Taken King had an overall theme, like, you know, what was it, less damage when you're in the Shadow Realm or something like that. So I mean, that was one when you're the run of the orb and you've got half the map shooting at you occasionally. You might survive a little better if you have to be the one. And I guess that may be part of the way the encounters are built. There's not the one clutch person either holding Crota's sword, running the platforms and Taken King, or the three people, say, shooting in Siva, basically. Yeah. So there's not those specific pieces where someone has to do something. It's basically, you have your mechanics to the fight, and there's not one clutch person who's going to go smack the boss. So I guess, I mean, it's harder to have, I guess, more of a specific thing to that front. But no, some benefit, as you said, callus plates, that's the hardest fight. When I go into Prestige, I want the previous normal raid to benefit me, which some of these will do, but I think specific fights, especially the callus fight, would be nice.
I got a theory on why they may be doing that is because they're going with this whole raid layer thing.
Yeah.
And I think because it's a raid layer and we have another one coming, right? Because if you notice, look at the perks. The perks say
on
the Leviathan. So I think that may be the reasoning why. I'm just trying to get myself into the mindset as to why they're doing it. But one would hope for like prestige. Like what's going to separate prestige stuff?
I mean, is it going to have anything different that drops, or is it just more of the same?
Exactly. Like, so what's the difference? So that's my thing. Like they need to
say Prestige had 35%, just on what we're looking at right here.
True.
So if you do Prestige, they did be like, okay, you're that much better.
Right.
So
or not to cut you,
at least. No, you're good.
Not to cut you. What Slee's saying in the chat is that remember how we've always wanted a reason to wear the full set. Why can't maybe Prestige
bonuses, yes.
Yeah, like when you have the full set on, you get X, Y, and Z. I'm totally with, shout out to Slee. I mean, Zero in the chat right now. He's on fire. Like, yeah, like I'm completely with that. Like they have to, we've always wanted that since D1 because let's be honest, we always put on an exotic. We'll always do something to break up the set. So make the set hold more value, you know?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, did you play Diablo?
Yes.
So yeah, Diablo set bonuses, same thing. And there can be multiple sets. But on the other end, hey, what about a Crucible set bonus? If I'm going to go wear a legendary Crucible set bonus, maybe there's actually a reason to go turn in all my packages and work on doing something like that. Because maybe in Crucible, you're 1% faster. But if I have the whole set, hey, 1% in Crucible, I'm still faster than you. So, but yeah, for the raid, I'd love to see. Oh man, I would love to see a set bonus. And what if it was a 2-stage? Like if you wear 3 and then you wear the full 5? Like, however, some type of set bonus, that'd be great.
And shout out to the guy in the chat. He's saying that Division gear kind of style, they do that.
Yeah, and, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Division nails that front.
Yeah, there's no reason why Destiny can't do that. I completely agree. Has to be
like Division nated. So yeah. All right. I told you we'd have some tangents, guys. So
we do. Flashpoint turning the long point.
So double drops. So for clearing Prestige, now gives you Prestige and normal drops, which just makes sense. Now, as I said, and I think you kind of agree, it'd be nice if Prestige was something different, not just another color. So if you're going to go beat your head against a Prestige wall, which is already hard enough, if you actually go accomplish it, it'd be nice to get a little extra from it. So that'd be kind of cool. Absolutely. Raid encounters always drop a raid piece. Again, a Destiny 1 thing that was not brought to Destiny 2, that when you finish an encounter, you get something besides, oh, I got my tickets. I'll go turn them in later.
Yep.
Same thing. So, and I also said every encounter has a chance to drop an exotic that is decrypted so you can start using it. Now, that saves, for a different discussion about exotics not really mattering that much right now, because as we said, we can run without one and still be fine. So
they did claim they were going to revisit that the last development.
So hopefully collect all the ones you can now, and then maybe the decisions might mean more later. But hey, at least if they're putting them in there as an option, it'd be nice. But honestly, if it was like, hey, you have an exotic at this, but hey, at the end of Callus, you have like a 10% chance for an exotic quest to drop.
Yeah, that's
go get that stuff back in there too. Don't forget about the crazy quest that we all wanted to grind for. So again, baby steps, and I know they can't fix everything, and this is 3 weeks basically from the update. So it's not bad for a few weeks, and we'll see more as it comes through. Here we go to the raid vendor, sells a rotating selection of gear. But now this is kind of an interesting one they said for Prestige. So for a cost of legendary shards and Callus tokens, you can purchase these pieces if you completed that raid for the week. For instance, if you wanted to buy the Prestige chest armor, you need to complete the Prestige mode before you can do so.
Okay.
So I like that you can't just go buy Prestige. If you are wearing that, you legit still have to earn it, which is kind of cool.
Which is good.
Yeah. And again, I think would probably give more benefit to those pieces. But I also kind of wonder is if he sells the piece and you're like, hey, the only one that really means anything, if all the perks don't matter and say the class item's still the best one, well, if I just go to the raid once, I don't get it, I go buy it, and I feel like I'm kind of done. Yeah. I'm still kind of with you on I don't know if they should be selling raid gear.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, or at least there should be a limit. Maybe, I don't know, one per week. It's a weird line for me. This is that Hawthorne-y kind of stuff that I don't like, which is you get raid armor and you get raid. It has to be a prestige activity. It has to be something, this is what separates the casuals and the people who are really dedicated to the game. The people who grind need to be rewarded and something to show off for that level of dedication. If someone doesn't have the time, I get it. You maybe have the ability to get 1 week. I still don't know how to completely attack it and balance it, but I don't know how I feel about just going up to, old boy sweeping and just, hey, let me get this chest. I don't know how I feel about that, Ebontis. So I'm still struggling. Shout out to the saltiest. He's calling participation trophies in Destiny.
No, and that brings back to a whole point of just kind of gaming in general right now, and the way a lot of people complain about a lot of things in Destiny 1. I don't have the Trials gear because honestly, for one, it's beyond salty on PC, which is crazy if I looked at the numbers on Destiny Reddit. But two, me and the people that I've played with, I'm not as great at PvP, and people just can mop the floor with me. But you know what? If I haven't earned the Trials gear, I haven't earned it. And I think people always seem to want it a way to get everything, and they're okay limiting that stuff in Crucible, but they feel weird about limiting it in PvE. And I don't know why they feel okay limiting Crucible, in which I'm getting beat up by a person. But again, it's like if there's content that's difficult and say you can't do it, then same principle, I think.
No, I agree. And shout out to Kai in the chat. He's saying casuals and collectors are fine with strikes and nightfalls. He said, but let raids and trials be for the hardcore guys. Yeah, I remember the days in D1, Ebontis, when you stepped in that tower and you seen another Guardian with a full raid set or a full trial set, and you're like, yo, how did you get that? It made you want to play that hardcore activity. Yeah. It made me want to raid. So it's just I gotta agree. They what it is they're in this mea culpa state because they know they messed up and they got to fix these shit and make things to D1. But I just don't want them to go so overboard that now they're just giving stuff away. There still has to be levels to it.
Yeah, there has to be. Yeah, I mean, there has to be a challenge to. We still want to grind for something, just like the Black Spindle quest. Same principle. It's we all knew it was out there, and it felt awesome to finish it. But that was the cool part about it. It felt like an accomplishment. Now it just feels like you're just kind of pushing. It almost feels like data entry versus an athlete or something. It's you can do your you can do your basics and do this, and you can kind of get your gear and get up to 335. Don't even get me started on 335 you can get by running public events. That's also
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I was like, my buddy had run the raid more than me, and he was full raid set, and I was just like, I hadn't run it as much, but I was still playing other stuff just because I was a little busier. And I was still the same level as him, and he'd run the hardest stuff in the game, and I'd just been grinding other things, and I still got there. The milestones are fine, but say the milestones only got me to 320. The raid was the only thing. The raid or trials were the things that got you up there. PvE and PvP had their options in D1, and they casualized the game in many ways.
Absolutely.
But if I can rein us back in here to the next piece, and I'm sure we'll wander off path again.
Flashpoint, the quickest points ever.
Yeah, Flashpoint, completely and to the point.
We're passionate.
Usually nothing, but that's fine. Exotic Raid Ghost. Now this is kind of cool. So the Nano Phoenix, that ship that I definitely never got. I saw Mesa Sean got it out there. So if you grinded a lot, you might get it, but not even the people who grinded a lot never did. So one of the cool things that now you can get is at the end, the final encounter for either the raid or Eater of Worlds, you can get the Contender's shell, which makes sense because it's cool. Picture here looks kind of sick. So you got the Callus logo on top and bottom for the Leviathan ship, and it's got a couple perks too. So first off, it says the Seeker of Brilliance enables the chance for encounters to drop bright engrams from their loot pools. So just by running the raid, you have a chance at just extra bright engrams. And I think that's one thing. I think they're just from the update from Crimson Days, whatever's coming. You can get the Crimson engrams from milestones. You can get them from just playing matches. Their understanding be like, okay, we're just going to start throwing these engrams at you, so you shut up. And they're going to give you as many chances as possible. So I'm fine with that. So, and every time one doesn't drop a bright engram, you increase the chance for the next. So probably somewhere in the raid, you're going to get one bright engram a raid. And if you don't get that much experience in there, well, this is a way for them to make ups for it while they're trying to fix the whole experience bug, which, hey, it's something. So I'll take it. Then they also said the exotics that can drop from encounters. Well, Seeker of Opulence means the exotics have a 50% chance to pull from a list of exotics you haven't collected.
So basically, that's like almost acting like a faded engram in a sense.
Yeah, it's like half a faded engram per se, but yeah. So it's even if you get one, there's half a chance it's not going to be. Now, this is the balance of, okay, it's cool if the exotics are there, but I also feel like exotics aren't that hard to get in the first place.
Yeah, I'm with you.
When I go turn in milestones, I feel like every other one has it like whatever I get in an exotic. Half the time, I feel like they're in there anyway. So
again, this goes back to my point. I've talked with Lord Kai's like, some of this. I think sometimes they're getting this mentality to just overwhelm us with gifts. And that may not necessarily be the answer to resolve the issue, because now we have the Seeker of Opulence, we've got faded engrams, 3 of coins. To be honest, even without any of that stuff, like you said, Ebontis, exotics are dropping, man.
Now, on a completely different tune, I keep getting the same damn ones and it's bugging the crap out of me.
True.
On PC, my Warlock has 5 of the same chest armor in my character's inventory. And then my Hunter, I was wearing boots, like the Jester boots. I went over, I had an engram to decrypt, and then I walked over to Zavala. Turned in my milestone, I got the same boots I was literally wearing, had them equipped. And then I walked over to Rahul, and he gave me the same damn thing. So I got literally I went from 1 to 3 of the exact same exotic back to back in about 3 minutes. And I was like, that sucks. I was like, and that takes away the feeling of them being exotic as well. Like, I don't know how they did the math in D1, but I don't think I got duplicates like I did in Destiny2. It's weird.
I agree. And I don't know if it's definitely the algorithm, and I don't know if it's also the pool. It feels like there's less exotic. I don't know, man. It's definitely something is messed up with that algorithm, that system.
And I think it's also the fact that typically you only get exotic armor for your class. Yeah. There's no if somebody only plays one class and be like, well, crap, I've got like 6 exotics for 100 and I haven't started one yet. Yeah, maybe I'll go do that. Those don't even drop anymore. So even if I'm playing my Titan only, I'm not going to help my other characters exotics. Right. So, that takes away as well. But, the contender shell sounds cool. You'll have to do the raid, multiple times probably to get it from the final encounter. Seems to throw stuff at you. And the final one is Seeker of Glory, which is just a tracker for the number of times you defeated the Leviathan. So, overall, nice. Something like this should have been in here from the start, as it doesn't seem overly difficult. But again, steps in the right direction. So
Baby steps in the right direction.
yeah, but again, looks cool, nice and shiny. So
yes, sir.
Patch notes that are coming. So armor masterworks are coming and changes the raids. They've got Prometheus lens, increased base damage. The
Thank
perk now.
God they nerfed it into
getting
oblivion.
Yeah, it's kind of useless. Fixed an issue where new characters created are not receiving the Flashpoint milestone, just bugs. Players in social spaces. Oh, this is actually cool. And I don't know why it took them this long. Players in social spaces like the tower receive a notification when they're lost and found that the postmaster is full. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you'll be like, I was just running around patrols for a while. Little did I realize I picked up like 40 blue engrams and my crap's full. Like, so that
quality of life.
That is nice. So quality of life. Heroic strike completions now have a greater chance of granting exotic rewards. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, they're throwing exotics at it. You got to find something else to give me besides exotics. Because what do you
stop throwing exotics at me? How about what's up with the scoring that they're going to be adding on Nightfalls? What's up with that on Heroic Strikes? That was a D1 mainstay,
right? That was and that's where they introduced it in. It wasn't it only in Heroics. The scoring was it even in Nightfalls?
Oh no, I can't remember now. Wait, the Nightfall? I thought it was exclusive to Strikes. Scoring, right? Yeah, it was never on the Nightfall. I think it was something that was just exclusive.
Because I mean, I guess when I soloed him, though, I think there was still like a gold score. Yeah, there probably was because he had to do it for the quest. So yeah,
you may be right.
They were in there. Yeah,
you're right. You may be right.
But yeah, why when you can introduce heroic adventures that have new modifiers, you put heroic strikes in within the same expansion, and they have 0 modifiers, but the same strikes you're running in Nightfalls already have 2. Maybe just throw one of them on there.
I agree.
I was like, they could be random, they could be weekly. Either way, it could be something to give them a difference. Sometimes heroics might be easier. Sometimes they might be a pain in the butt with attrition, but it's something. So, sorry, that's just the whole rant right there. I'm just like I'm trying to stop talking.
Listen, we're passionate, man. This is what happens in the Flashpoint.
Oh yeah. So fixed an issue. Mercury challenges are now available during adventures. That seems like something that should have been, but okay. Fixed an issue where Curse of Osiris strikes were not properly granting clan engrams when featured as the Nightfall activity. I noticed that one because yeah. One quick sidebar. Nothing's quick in this. I'm just going to stop saying that. No.
Yeah. Long point.
Curse of Osiris strikes. Is that not the giant biggest slap in the face?
Yeah.
To feel like things are rushed when they're literally just strikes from the campaign, or literally missions from the campaign that are actually shorter because the story bit's not at the end.
Exactly. Just omitted that story part at the end. You're completely right.
You're just like, okay, you're done with the boss. You don't jump up or you don't go through the end. That's it.
That's it. Like that's the only difference. It's pretty bad.
Fixing the issue where challenges were not appearing within quick play. Okay. And increase the dismantle time for Masterwork cores. I don't know who's dismantling Masterwork cores, but I guess you won't accidentally do it now. I mean, seriously, I was like, I have 7,000 Masterwork cores. My entire vault is full of Masterworks. I guess I'm done. I'll delete these. I don't see that happening a lot, but maybe it was just accidental, so it's harder to. It's probably like deleting an exotic. Then we finally get down to shaders. So before we open this little mini can of worms, want to give me a quick thought on shaders?
Listen, I'm a tech, so I'm trying to show sympathy because I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the intricacies of the whole system as far as why some break down into glimmer and some break into bright dust or whatever it's called. I'm not going to insult them in that manner. But, it's one of those things that, first of all, because a shader is a consumable now, this is a new problem that D2 has presented itself with. So, I respect the transparency, but we need a fix. I mean, the vault we don't have enough vault space as it is, and what takes up predominantly a lot of your vaults. I mean, a lot of your, the space is these damn shaders, so they've got to get on that as quickly as they possibly can, because this is really becoming an issue.
Yeah. So, I mean, they wanted, and they're pulling away from Eververse. So the fact that they mentioned things like, they want them to be freely usable, not limited by availability, reintroducing collections, like those are all steps in the right direction. But that stuff, that stuff was working in D1.
Yeah.
So they missed the shader mechanics. Now, they said they want to reintegrate what you could do in Destiny 1 without losing the ability to shade ghosts sparrow ships and all the other stuff. And I'm okay with that. But you already have the systems mostly there for the shading. Just add to it. And again, I'm not with you. I'm a developer. I don't know what it's like to add a kiosk in. And maybe they're trying to not throw the kiosk, so they're trying to find another way to make it work.
Yeah, that's a good point, though, about the kiosk, because even if you can't, again, let me not go into my programming spiel, but I'm very surprised that kiosks were not there from day one.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that shout out to Destin Legary and his continued rant of 1,200 days for vault space. But
exactly.
I don't know how we started this game with a vault space issue. They're gonna keep, and they wanted to keep feeding us cosmetics. You got to give us a place to put it. Like this is where the whole Jason Schreier article, and this is the last main point besides the fact that the comic is coming out next week, which I'm excited for because that was good.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to see what's thrown out.
Yeah. So I wanted to. It's like I would love to know the accuracy of Schreier's article to be like this game was developed in 16 months. If that was actually true, there's a lot that would make sense.
Absolutely.
I mean, things feel rushed. Systems weren't there. Even Curse of Osiris felt like, I mean, when you have strikes that aren't separate, something had to happen.
Here's the thing: when you have a crucible that you can't select specific modes, that's a problem.
It's just and they don't have playlists. And if you had those playlists when the game started, when your player base was huge, you wouldn't have to worry about player pools because some people would be picking different stuff. Like some people love certain game modes and some people don't, but you'd have those. But now it's literally like 2 ways to play Crucible, and you're going, that's the last option? Be like, okay, give them 2 buttons and that's it. Like, I mean, that's literally, you have to wonder. It's like, what is the quickest thing we can get out, because we only have 1 month to give them Crucible options. We can't do all these playlists because that takes too much coding and networking and matchmaking and all that stuff. Just give them 2. That's it. And then they had to run with it. So the fact that shaders, and then as you were saying, some breakdown, and the fact that Dawning had 2 different shaders that were the same thing, but they took up 2 different spots. Like, how does, and this is where, again, I don't know how many times I'll apologize, I'll save it. It's like, no, I don't work there. I understand that.
Right.
But I want to know who sits there and tests their games. Like, do they have, I've heard they have a pretty large chunk of testers. I don't know how many.
Right.
And it does something along the lines of a public test server for Destiny 2 makes sense for spoilers. That's rough, because if you get into raids and things and spoilers, and people are going to like data mine the PC patches anyway. So, I mean, it's kind of like you're in a losing battle as it is. But whatever testing group they have doesn't seem to be big enough or given enough time to get to the point of, so my inventory is full of shaders. Like, that's something I shouldn't be saying. Like, my inventory is full of armor. Fine, delete some of it. Okay, it's all doesn't matter anyway. But if the fact that it's like shaders and this stuff, it's.
Let me go off on a side tangent real quick, because you just got the creative juices flowing right now. And shout out to Kaibatu also. He's also saying some stuff in the chat. What it to me it screams that, okay, why are we repeating the same mistakes, right, from the past? And to me, I get disheartened when I hear stuff like they're already working on D3, right? They, to me, they are not in any position to be doing that right now, in my opinion. This game launched with a lot of flaws, right? To me, all hands on deck should be to resolve the D2 issues. And I think all this now kind of spills back from going from D1 to D2, because when you went from D1, remember Rise of Iron, from my mistake, remember that wasn't D2 was supposed to come out during that time frame, if I recall. Right. Then it got
a lot of us heard.
Yeah, then it got pushed back. So then, to me, that means they're already kind of behind the 8 ball. It's like there's one part of Bungie and on Activision or whatever that's doing this creative forecasting ahead of what they want to do, and I understand that's how games work. You do have to do some type of years ahead planning. I get it, but when the problems are in the state that they are for D2, there has to be a recommitment to the current franchise, because guess what? If they've already kind of screwed up, and the player base, people are doing, Destiny 2 streamers right now are making apology videos about why they're not doing content.
Oh no, absolutely. Like, there's too many of them being like, I can only do this. I've got to go to other things. It's like, I really want to do this, but I also get tired of, And some people want to, it's like, if you want to take the high road and be like, I don't want to make videos where I just bash Bungie. And then you have other ones that are like, okay, I'm going to bash Bungie, but I don't want to do it over and over. Or just like, I'm kind of done playing this because I'm a streamer. I've played the living crap out of it already, and there's nothing for me to do. Like,
exactly.
All those different reasons. You've got things that are wrong, things that don't feel right in a game that isn't as fun to watch as it used to be. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's like, put Destiny 3 on a back, and that's why I was like, honestly, take this expansion and delay it. Division did. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you delay this expansion to September.
Yep.
And give the people more for their money's worth in this one.
Right.
And then okay, just start pushing stuff back. Because honestly, if you take Destiny 2 players, who most of them probably bought the season pass anyway. If they didn't, so be it. But the ones who did, and you give them an expansion, it'd be like my brother told me about The Witcher 3. Blood and Wine, for that game, he said it was like a 30-hour expansion for free. And you're going, okay, so you've already paid for this. Let's make this one that the decent amount of our player base probably paid for and we got the money for. Let's do this to try and win some of them back and show them we can put something forward. Like, if they release an expansion in spring, which could again be March to June, you never know. I don't care if it's June 20th.
Me neither.
It's technically still within spring. If it's June 20th and that thing actually has strikes that are different from missions, please. You've got an infinite forest that you can actually go back into, as opposed to be limited to just 3 adventures a week. I mean, all of those, like Mercury is tiny in the grand scheme.
Mercury. Let's keep it. Mercury's a joke. It's a circle. It's a circle with 2
platforms on either side. Yeah,
on each side with 2 little patrol beacons.
Yep.
You know, and it's badly underpopulated. Yeah. You know, it's just sad to see what's happened. So it's like one of those things, like you said, like this is such a critical juncture for them. All hands. I don't want to hear about D3.
No, I was like, just be like, and that's you kind of wonder above. It's like, okay, Bungie's like, all right, Activision, we'll do it your way. And again, no clue if this is true, but like Activision, we'll try it your way. We're going to put more things behind Eververse. We're going to do whatever it is. Okay, the community's pissed. Can we do it our way now? And I think the fact that, you know, Christopher Barrett on Twitter is more frank than most developers are.
Absolutely. Got to give him credit with transparency. Have to give him that.
Yeah. So, if he's leading that charge and he's leading the live team and we've got him at least at the reins, there's hope, but there's so much. And that's the other piece too. If this isn't your game right now, it may not be your game for a little while. And that's kind of a hard pill for these people to swallow. But take Division. Like, is it, I mean, people may be fading off because it's still Division, but they still have made the effort to continue for 2 years on that game to make that game. And it's still just Division 1. And it's like, I don't know.
No, I agree. Shout out to Ubisoft. I mean, look what they've done with Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh my God, yes.
Look how they turned these games around. And it is no talk of Division 2 as much, right? They like wanted to get
didn't even mention that I know of. Like,
we know it's coming, but like you said, there's really no push of it like hardcore just yet. And they're taking everything that their community wants, that they've complained about, added it in, fixed it, and then you can start, you know, getting to the sequel. But I digress. We'll go on with that.
Well, I was like, and that's the thing too, where it's like there's a balance between Massive, which makes Division, and then Bungie, who makes Destiny, in the speed that they do things. And it was especially apparent in the opening of Division. They listened to the elite players too much and screwed over the masses.
Yes, agreed.
So that was a part that turned so many people off of that game, where it's like, you can bring some people back, but you may not resolve it. Bungie is afraid of doing some changes, but they're too afraid and therefore don't make enough. Like, say you do a sandbox, as you said, the sandbox, you cannot literally wait to get your teeth into that. Like, if you have some questions, be like, hey, we're doing a sandbox update this week. If you just threw some stuff out there and there was a different gun in the meta, like every week for a little while, as we work on tweaking more and more and more and more, let your millions of people, or hundreds of thousands, depending on who are left playing, but still a bigger audience than you have, work out your kinks, take your data that way and be like, hey, we're going to be messing with the sandbox a lot. It could be a different game every week. It'll give some people a reason just to come back, have little mini patch notes and be like, hey, we're going to bump auto rifles up a little bit this week, see what happens.
And that, you just nailed it. Think about this. If during all these problems, if the sandbox team was messing with the meta And like you said, giving bumps, and these were promises that were made to us with Destiny 2 that, because of the tools that they'll have, they'd be able to jump in, more quickly. We'd be able to do balance changes more fast. Where is it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we need to keep, because PvP is dying, and I'm a hardcore PvP. I'm a fairly semi-hardcore PvP guy. And that PvP in Destiny 1 meant so much to me. I remember just logging in, doing my daily crucible, remember the true meaning of war bounty, Ebontis?
Yes. Where's
That was my jam right there. Like, I would do, and I would sit there, and it would force me to play different modes. Shaxx had his own quest line for me. I can get exotic type reward. I could literally play Crucible for the entire week and the weekend with trials and still be making progression on my character and doing high-end activities. Where is that?
Right. I mean, the true meaning of war bounty is probably one of the prime examples of milestones versus bounties.
Mm-hmm.
And milestones are like, okay, so literally just is based off the number of kills. It's pretty much all I think it's based off, because it's always like a shade under of what I feel like 25% would be for a match or whatever. But then it's like the bounties made you work on something different. Like, it was, okay, get kills with sniper rifles, get kills. What if the weekly bounties are like, so the weekly bounties are sniper rifles, shotguns, and sidearms, and like give people a reason to play differently, even if it is just for a little while. They don't have to be exorbitantly long. But again, if it's like get 15 kills with a
grenade launcher, because nobody knows.
Yeah, you'd see a lot more grenade launchers running around if people had at least some reason to use the crappy guns. But yeah,
that's absolutely the aspect of the bounty system that I miss. It definitely kind of coerced you to specific activities.
Yep, absolutely. Hold on, give me a 2-second pause.
Sure, go for it. Yeah, man. Shout out to the chat too. Yeah, going hard. Yeah, it shows engagement.
Yeah, no, I was cutting video, so I just wanted to make sure it was a good process. So page 2. Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are just the things you miss. Just your strike scoring bounties, and if they bring that back and they don't have bounties, it's like, so if I see numbers but there's no point behind them, then again, why is it going to be a milestone of, hey, just get 100,000 points in strike scoring? Okay, it's probably just going to be like, is it just the same as running 3 strikes that you're inevitably going to do it? I was like, the bounties, but the PvP doesn't have the way to get their Nightfall level gear like they used to. If all you want to do is do Crucible, and you're like, I can't find a group for Nightfalls and guided games, I wait there for half an hour and then I sneezed, so I missed my acceptance. Like, I did that once, by the way. I didn't sneeze. I had to go to the bathroom. I've been waiting for like 25 minutes. I got to go to the bathroom. It's like, I was like, son of a, like, that sucked. So, but I was like, if say Crucible is your thing and you want a way to go get Nightfall tier rewards, like, okay, that's fine. As opposed to just killing stuff, give me another one.
Yep.
All of those things. But yeah, the comic book is coming back. Looks cool. Speakers like hell no. Icor's like, oh crap. Osiris is just like, I don't give a crap. I'm not
my man out. They're kicking my man out.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. I definitely can't wait for that one.
Absolutely.
A couple updates, of course. Literally, when I have my Tuesday off, they screw over my playtime because every time. Now it's like, okay, so if you're doing stuff you want to be ready on Tuesday? Yeah, well, it goes down at 10 a.m. my time, which is an hour before, and then it's up at 2 p.m. So I'm like, well, what am I going to go work out for 4 hours? I'm going to die. So
yeah, I'm adjusting to that new reset time too.
Yeah, it's like I don't have to wake up at 3 a.m., which is nice, but when my work schedule goes back to probably more normal, it'll be a little different timings for videos. But yeah, it's just maintenance is coming, and then I didn't even watch the video. So
absolutely.
I was like, all in all, it's like, hey, Cosmo at the helm. All the guys are back. They are trying, and basically the best way I can sum it up, things are not going to happen overnight. They have a big plan. Now, what I'm really, really curious about, next week we will send out a graphical roadmap that will illustrate the updates and we have planned for the coming weeks and months, along with what you can expect to find in them.
Nice.
So if you think this one's going to be a long chat,
if you thought this one,
we're going to lose our mind next week.
Listen, but this is ultimately what we want: transparency, communication. At least they're getting on that path, so we got that down. We're going to see what we got. This graphical roadmap. I'm very interested with that. You know, we need to see more stuff like that, and just like, you know, and then also what I like is the thought. I'm explaining the thought process behind decisions. You know, this week was good in the sense of, okay, this is why shaders we're having this issue, so to speak, and then they went into that lengthy spiel about it. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? What I would like them to say is, okay, why can't we have balance updates? You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, like,
you want to hear, like, I mean, you've got a full page on my screen of shader sit down. Like, okay, here's why they can't dismantle stacks for multiple rewards. Okay, here's the things, like, even if it was just a balance update, be like, hey, this is the stuff we're seeing. And then you could have some people comment and be like, okay, this doesn't feel this way, this does. And maybe they do or don't, but it's like, you've got to, now's when you need to talk to your community and have a balance update. Before that balance update comes out, and this is what you guys think that it's going to be, we're going to up auto rifles by 0.001%. We swear it's going to make a difference. I mean, seriously, it's like, that was probably one of the worst updates for D1, when you're like, are the decimals in the wrong point? Is this really what you guys and it never, like, it didn't feel different at all. So before they do something like that, I mean, okay, so I mean, we can maybe save this for later, but for you, for a sandbox update, what are you dying for? Besides, I'm going to say grenade launchers just need a giant kick in the pants. Step aside from those.
I just want them to address different weapon types. I just want them to really deep dive on what's, you know, effective, what's not effective. You know, right now, this is my main issue right now with the meta. Like, right now, like, heavy hitting, like, I'm using Nameless Midnight for pretty much everything, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like that archetype of a scout, or, you know, I want to be able to use heavy hitting pulses. I want to be able to use, you know, slow, you know, heavy impact, hand cannons. You know, there's different archetypes that are still really useless. So I want them to get to that, and then I want them to actually get into. I know they did say they're going to be exotic reworks, so I know that's coming. But they really, because right now Masterworks are so good that I'm almost running full Masterwork sets.
You may as well run all Masterwork weapons, because if you run Better Devils, which just drops orbs like a crazy person, God, does it ever? And then something like an auto rifle, so positive outlook, Uriel's gift, the number, whatever you feel. But you notice we don't have a long list of options. I know there's always going to be a meta. It's kind of hard. But if they changed it more frequently, it would change more often, give you more stuff to grind for and all that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But yeah, exotics, as we said in, you know, the Iron Lords podcast, that was probably the one part of that update when I just wanted to put my face in my, like, face palm harder than I have in a while. It's like, we want exotics to basically feel exotic. I'm like, I'm going to save the language, but it's like, no kidding. Like, I was like, we've kept it mostly clean, so I will. But it's like, how is that not a fact? Like, exotics don't, there's a couple. Like, Merciless is kind of the only weapon most people will consider using over Sins of the Past or Curtain Call. There's not really a primary that's worthwhile, and there's a couple pieces of armor that are good. But yeah, why they're just so afraid of making things overpowered. You know, if you make more sandbox updates, some things are overpowered. Well, you can fix it and go make something else. I mean, have some fun. Let the community have some fun.
Stop trying to take the D2 meta so serious. Like, it's this, like this, you know, immense esport, competitive PvP. You know, like, it's Destiny. We're guardians. We're supposed to feel powerful. It's supposed to be fun. Do you know how much fun and ridiculous mayhem was when it was during the dawning?
Just leave that in there. You should just turn that on right now and leave it there.
Exactly. Why is it going away? Why? Like, these are the things that baffle.
And then the fact that when it comes back, it's limited time. I was like, no.
What?
I was so mad when I saw that. I was just like, put it back now. Just leave it there. Because, you know, some people just want to burn off steam, and you can't have a better way to do that. I will play Crucible all day long if I just want to be like, man, I got like 30 minutes before I go to work. I just want to just explode some people. That's why people play shooters. Now, some want to be competitive and sweaty. You want to play your different modes, but sometimes I just want to blow some stuff up. Dude, if it's other Guardians, great. Like,
you're preaching to the choir right now, man. I had so much fun. I dusted off my Skull of Dire Armankara for my Warlock. And I had so much fun, even though the Nova Bombs, I'm not agreeing with the Nova Bomb glitch.
No, well, yeah, they were broken, but that's that aside.
Yeah, that was broken. But it was just so much fun. I was just like, it felt so close to D1 Crucible, and I'm like, even when I was dying, I was laughing. I was like,
I didn't even care. I was like, oh, that was awesome. Oh, didn't see that coming. And yeah, I was like, you kind of get to the point where you're like, I see this like rock paper scissors. You got to feel for what beat what or why. Like if I smack somebody, but it's like you got to play around with supers, and I was like, you're always so afraid of using supers in Crucible because everybody gets them at the same time. And yeah, no, Mayhem should just be back. Like, I mean, if you need a little while to fix the Nova Bomb bug, fine. Have one person figure that out when that's fixed. I know it's not how it works again, but fix the Nova Bomb bug and then just like leave it there or do a featured playlist. Be like, I just want to play Control's your featured playlist. Mayhem's your featured playlist.
Exactly.
Like rotate it through. Bring some of that stuff back.
Exactly, man. Remember, we used to have that. We used to have that when you loaded up Destiny 1.
That was part of my weekly update. My weekly update videos can be really short now if there's nothing going on, by the way.
I like missed it. Yeah. I missed it, man.
All right. Well, I know this has been going for just a wee bit of a while, a good hour. How this one goes. But this is kind of what we wanted to do. It's like just talk about what's coming. And next week, we'll probably have some stuff to talk about. It sounds like.
Absolutely. So, we'll get the deep dive inside that. All these adjustments on the 30th.
Yeah. I was like, so, I mean, Crimson Days. Is that just going to feel like is that just going to be like a pink version of Crucible as opposed to red or green? I mean, is that I was like, I don't see what they're going to bring to it. Now it looks like there's like a 2v2.
Yes, 2v2. Shout out to SWAT. That was my Huckleberry. We used to do that thing, man. Oh man, like that. I actually enjoyed it. It was an interest. I like the buff mechanic.
Yeah,
when the person would get enraged if they go down or whatever. So I don't mind it. I'm curious to see what spin they put on it. Listen, it's something different.
If you get the buff, you're in mayhem mode. Go.
Oh man.
You better put that. Then you got to plan to drop them both together, otherwise you're screwed.
Exactly. Don't get me started. But we'll see. I'm willing to give it a chance based on. It was missing last time around, so we'll see.
Big time. So. All right. Well, to everybody out there, Cognito, if you want to get a little wrap up here first.
Yeah, man. This first Flashpoint in the books. Like I said, a little casual fireside chat kind of thing with my man Ebontis.
That might be a better description of it because I'm not sure Flashpoint fits.
We ain't flashing.
Flashing point implies something speedy, and we are slow as molasses. So.
We may have to rename it.
I just need to get like a video of about an hour of you and me somewhere sitting in front of like the little fire pit in the farm and just like have us chilling.
Yeah, man, a little fireside chat. We can come up with an appropriate name for what this really is, but we wanted to do it. Appreciate the guys that jumped in the chat. Shout out to Kai, shout out to Zero and everybody that came through just to hear some geeks that are passionate about Destiny, lament, and also get a little excited, show some hope also of what may be coming down the future. We all love this game. We want to see it come back. And from the ILP side, also I'll be using Flashpoint or whatever I decide to call it
we'll
for other little topics as well. We might be doing combat sports and other stuff. So feel free to check us out there at the Iron Lords podcast YouTube. And also the Lords go live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's the round table. That's church, the Lord's Day. And that's on the Inner Circle Network. And that's at the Inner Circle Network YouTube, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Speaking of Sundays, are you excited at all about the Super Bowl? Or is it kind of like meh?
We still got another week, I believe, not this week, but next Sunday. It's kind of to me, it's almost like a foregone conclusion. Tom Brady's gonna get this one, but let's see what happens. To me, Super Bowl is all more so about like the event for me, seeing my friends, drinks, food, all that good stuff.
The football games. Like honestly, more people. I feel like lately, as the Patriots have been there so much, it's like let's just see what happens with the commercials. That's half the fun.
There you go, and the commercials, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So, Ebontis, you want to wrap this thing up for closing?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys if you stuck with us this long. I know we rambled off, but I'm sure this is some of the stuff many of you guys were thinking. So if you are, sound off in the comments. Of course, check out the Iron Lords podcast in the Inner Circle over there. I'll get links from him, put those in the description below. As you guys know, for me, you'll find me on Twitch as soon as I finally move my computer, which I built, but haven't moved it into the room. So I got to get my streaming setup over. But twitch.tv/ it's Ebontis everywhere. That's the nice thing. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, right here. You guys can find me. And But anything you guys want to see as you guys read these updates, leave those in the comment below for
Absolutely.
questions, thoughts, stuff you guys want to see us talk about. If you got any topics you want us to cover that are not on the update, but just for the weekly topic, definitely up for suggestions from there as well. So we are open in all ears. And as always, to the Lord at the other end of the table, of which the dignity has been. No, I will. If you guys ever listen to the Iron Lord podcast, the way this gentleman introduces anyone and any guest who steps onto his show is, without question that there's a formality and a level of gratitude that I can't extend to him. So I appreciate that. And everything he says about me is totally false.
Thank you so much, Lord. Love those intros.
Been like 2.5 years since. Is it 2.5 years?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 years, bro.
Since DestinyCon, since we met. So since then, all the way out here, good old recording things. So for all of you guys that are out there, this is my little sign off I've been doing. I have no idea if people find it corny or not, but good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. But wherever you guys are at around the world, thank you, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Peace.